Mazel Tov cocktails.
Mazel, yeah. That was amazing, huh?
That was on CNN or what?
Oh, look, it was MSNBC.
Everywhere. It's everywhere. It's just so crazy.
Bravo, everybody. Bravo, bravo, bravo.
Oh,
Hey, Dan.
Oh, hello. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. Great to see
What was
you.
on MSNBC? This was on MSNBC?
okay. It's not worth talking about that, but we're gonna talk about the concert tonight and about music. Dan Singer and I follow each other very carefully on Facebook, so we have a lot of
Every word. Every word.
every word.
Yeah.
So we're just going to wait a few more minutes as people are joining us, and then we're going to start. So thank you. Did you have time to get a drink? L'chaim, everybody.
I am.
Well, this was really a first in a million different ways, and it was the first time we ever used the technology that we use tonight. I think Dan Singer has probably used this technology before, right? This platform.
Well, tonight's actually our benefit as well. So we're going to be using it for the first time on Zoom, for our benefit. But yeah, I'm used to using Zoom. But
No, but I mean the platform that we use for the concert part.
Oh, for the concert? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very effective. Yeah.
Did anybody have technology problems?
It froze up a little bit every now and then.
Every now and then?
Yeah.
All right, just another couple of minutes. People are still streaming in. We're just going to give it a couple of more minutes. But please feel free to write in the chat if you want to your responses to the concert. Well, we're just going to wait a couple of more minutes. All right, people are streaming in. I thought the sound, Jason Zivic was listening on Sky. We're thrilled. I thought the sound was fantastic. All right. All right, is Joyce here?
I'm here.
Oh, excellent. Yay, Joyce. Are all the performers now on? Can somebody help me see if that's true? And then we'll get started. I think we're pretty close.
We're close.
All right, folks, so we're going to start. So I hope everybody had time to get a little cocktail or mocktail or a little bite to eat. Well, we moved rooms from the concert hall to the social hall where we're going to get a chance to schmooze a little bit. And before Joyce and I are going to ask questions of our performers and talk about the program and the singing and what's happened in people's lives, I'm going to ask our CBST president, Greg Passon, who's going to offer a few words. And I'm going to ask all of us who can to mute ourselves while Greg is speaking, and then we'll be able to have a conversation together. And again, feel free to write things in the chat or questions you have or responses. We'd love to see all of them. And so I'm going to turn this over to our president, Greg Passon.
Great. Thank you, Rabbi, and thank you, everyone, for joining us. As I say all the time, my job as president is to say thank you all the time. And the words of thanks, I wrote a couple of notes here. There are about 5 or 6 bullet points, and every single one of them starts with thanks. So thanks to our incredible musicians. I am always wowed by musicians in the best of times. So the fact that they were able to pull this off under these circumstances, I don't have the comprehension for that. So thank you for an incredibly moving and beautiful concert. I don't have the words for it. All of you have the words for it because you're putting it in chat right now. So thank you to all of our musicians. Thank you to our staff who put this together, the staff that you see all the time on our screens, but also the staff that you don't see, the staff behind the scenes. Everyone on our staff always contributes to all of our events. And I thank all of our staff who go above and beyond, especially in this time, to make everything so wonderful. And thanks to all of you and to all of our donors. I've been getting emails and texts from board members, throughout the concert and at the end of it, saying a couple of things. One, fantastic. The technology was fantastic. Hopefully it's something that we can use again for other types of large scale events like this. And to all of our donors, thank you so much. We don't have final numbers, but what I do know is that we've raised pretty much what we originally put in our budget last year for this concert when no one had ever heard the word COVID before. We scaled it back when we knew we had to go virtual, but we pretty much raised what we originally set out to do, which is just fantastic, because it goes to help not only our music program at CBST, but also our social justice programs and everything else we're doing to support our community during this time. So again, thank you all so much. Thank you for joining us, and enjoy a wonderful, wonderful post-concert event. Rabbi?
Can I just say, wow, like that was just, well, first of all, it was an amazing experience not to be playing. I didn't do my scales before. I didn't warm up. I didn't have these last minute rehearsals. I just got to just take it in and just enjoy everybody. And whoa, the talent that was amassed today in that platform is beyond and beyond and beyond. And just no words to thank each and every one of the people that gave so much, and in these ways that were that were really uncomfortable, but they turned out to be like a blessing, and new art was made today, and the depth of your souls really just shone, and you gave us gifts that we will treasure for years and years to come. So I thank you. And I thank I just have to say, I thank this incredible staff of CBST who has just we worked tirelessly together anyway, but for this concert, there has been more meetings and more Zoom calls than anybody wants to imagine. And it all came together, and it's such a blessing. So, whoo, kol hakavod.
And let's talk about for a second, and then we'll start with some questions to our artists. What Joyce Rosenzweig was able to do, we reached out to all of the amazing musicians and asked them what their offering would be, what would be meaningful to them in this moment. And then Joyce curated it. And it's very painful. And as I can see it for the musicians, to not be able to collaborate, to be in a room together, to hear each other, and to create the art that happens when people create a group making music together, and to overcome that pain enough to try and see what we could do that would be second best. This is never going to come close to what it's like for musicians to be in a room together. And thank you to Jason Zivick for helping us learn about this new platform that we used tonight, which was particularly good for music and for streaming music, so it sounds a lot better. And we're looking forward to exploring this for our Friday night services as well, to help with the sound of what we're doing. But so I get the pain of musicians not being able to create the very art which it's all about. And Magda, I loved in your screen to actually show the hands of the pianist.
Wow.
That was so creative. And Joyce, of course, has to pre-record all of the settings for the singers and send them a recording of the music that they then sing on top of. It's not at the same time. And I so deeply appreciate the pain in that. And yet we sing to create great music. So Adria Benjamin, let's start with you. Where are you, Adria?
I'm in a little square somewhere.
You're in a little square up there. So as many of you know, Adria was really helpful in the very creation of the idea of the Shabbat Shira concert. When I had the idea that we needed an 80-person orchestra to play Beethoven, Adria very quietly said to me, well, chamber music would be a lot more doable. And it hadn't occurred to me, but yes, of course, 4 or 5 musicians, a lot easier to pull together than an 80-person, 100-person orchestra. So Adria, would you talk a little bit? You've been involved in these concerts from the very beginning, 25 years ago. What was your vision then? And what's it been like for you? And could you talk a little bit about you mentioned it in the intro to one of the pieces tonight about how you as chamber musicians created the multiple voices tonight?
Well, it's not unlike what anyone else did and what the chorus did. It starts with somebody putting down one track, and that track gets basically emailed to the next musician who plays their track and records it. And all of these digital tracks get laid one on top of the other by wonderful engineers such as Jason Zivick. And for the chamber musicians, a friend of ours, Rob Davidson, did our engineering for us. It can be very labor intensive. It can be maddening. It can be frustrating. But ultimately, the joy of it is that we are communicating as this concert is a perfect example of, we are communicating everything that CBST stands for. And the art that is created is just an extension of CBST, our community, our family. And I'm very grateful that we can communicate this out to the world in this way. And I do want to echo everyone again for thanking from the bottom of my heart, the staff, the incredible staff who worked so tirelessly to put this together, and to everybody who performed, and most particularly to my colleagues, the chamber musicians, who undertook this without blinking an eye and said, of course, what can we do? Of course. So thank you to everybody. Much love to everybody. It's great to see so many people on these screens, and I hope everyone is well and safe, and love to everybody. Thank you, Rabbi.
How about all of us who didn't perform today? Give a round of applause for everybody who performed today. Just a magnificent, and deep experience. Randy's hands are joining mine in applauding all of you. So let's go back to the gallery view. So I wonder if some of the musicians would talk a little bit about why you chose the piece you chose. Some of you mentioned it a little bit, but maybe you want to talk a little bit about why in this moment in time the piece you chose is speaking to you and you giving it as an offering to CBST in this 25th year of these concerts. So if you'd raise your hand, because we have a lot of performers, who would like to take that? Dan Singer. Oh no, Sally Wilfert will take that. Sally, go ahead.
Hi, how are you, Rabbi?
I'm so much better. This
oh my gosh,
amazing concert.
Today really just was everything for my heart. But yeah, I think when Joyce and I were speaking about what to choose, Grateful sort of rose to the top. And once I was working on it, and I won't get emotional, but I did have the virus. I'm going to go out there and say that. So I feel really grateful to be alive. And the crazy thing that happened is that the first place it went to was to my throat. My voice went away. It literally went away. And so it's been quite a journey coming back, filled with a lot of fear and anxiety. And this concert, I'm so grateful for, because I was able to rehab to do this concert, and it is this is the first time, honestly, that I've truly sung anything since, when was that? Beginning of April? Actually March. It was March. So, so grateful is for so many reasons, not only personally, but also for what's happening in the world right now too. Not only the virus, but what we've been seeing these past few weeks. It just felt like right on, the right thing to say, and universal for all of us.
Yeah. Well, Sally, your singing is always so deep, and it is always so emotionally centered. And to hear it tonight, and now to know this about your own personal journey, is so moving. Thank you. What a profound gift you've given all of us, and you give us every time you sing it. Yes.
Well, I feel so true. It sounds corny, but I am so grateful to all of you for including me always, and to let me contribute using this to be a part. And for Joyce and I always to collaborate is, even though we weren't in the same room, Joyce, boy, we did okay.
Fabulous.
It's such a joy. And Sally, you are forever a part of our CBST family.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Sally, you're just an honorary gay Jew forever.
I mean, who knew? The shit that would be there. I mean, thank you, Bill Finn, right?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Bill. Steve Zeidenberg, Cantor Steve Zeidenberg, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Well, I am just so full of love and gratitude for being part of this concert. Am I muted? No.
No, well, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Most of the time I'm having technological
That's going to be
problems.
the slogan of this era,
Yeah.
right? Am I muted? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? It's so strange to not be able to put my arm out and have my arm pointed towards Joyce at the piano and allow everybody to applaud for Joyce. So can we take a couple seconds now to just give Joyce applause for unbelievable artistry and vision, and just having done 4 of these concerts, to not be in this concert this year, but to see all the magic that you put together. Sharon, the vision that you and Joyce have for music at CBST was just on full display tonight. I just want to say that Rikma, the song that I chose about a month ago, it had even more power in the last couple of weeks with the death of George Floyd and so much of the other injustice that we've been reckoning with. And for me, the song, as you mentioned at the beginning, is really all about that. It's really about how every soul is precious, and when one soul dies, there's really something in all of us that dies. And for me, the most powerful word actually is later on in the prayer and song, when it says, if we could only quiet ourselves to be able to say slicha, to be able to be in the process of tshuva, of real, not just saying we're sorry, but really the process of turning as individuals and as people, to be able to right our wrongs and to be able to be back in relationship. So
Beautiful,
the
Steve.
song was just a really deep, one of the best Israeli pop songs ever written, probably, and really grateful to be able to offer that. We did that first time I did that was actually during the martyrology service 5 years ago, and it was that theme that year was actually after the attack during the Pride Parade in Israel.
Yes.
And one of the things that we were bringing out in that particular martyrology was just, all kinds of acts of homophobia, and so to be able to bring another light to that song today was really special.
So beautiful to have you, and all of you are forever a part of the DNA of CBST, and how great to actually see you and to hear you tonight. Magda, would you talk to us a little bit about your choice tonight? And Yair, wonderful to hear both of you together.
Thank you. I think I did it at CBST, Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Indeed you did.
And I think it's very relevant to nowadays that we're all the colors of the rainbow, and we should celebrate that colors. And I always use your sentence, actually, no connection to the color, but I just said it yesterday to someone, let's celebrate. Oh, wait, what did I tell Gal yesterday? We're perfect imperfections. You used to say something like that, so I still say that. And I just chose it because of the colors of the rainbow, and I thought
I'm going to ask everybody to mute except for Magda, so we can make sure we can hear her well.
And I believe that it can be on this earth. It just takes a lot of work and a lot of courage, which all of you do have, because I do follow you closely. And I just hope for the Somewhere Over the Rainbow to be right here on earth. And I just love the music of Harold Arlen. And other than that, all the other songs were taken, so I had no choice.
Do you and Yair perform together a lot?
Yeah, so we performed the song of right before COVID started. That weekend, I will never forget. I had 2 concerts and 2 services. I was exposed to about 2,000 people that weekend. And the Monday after that weekend, everything closed. So I was kind of like in horror of what's gonna happen to us. And I was checking symptoms every single day. But thank God, we're very appreciative of being healthy, and I'm very happy to come back and be part of the CBST community again. And I don't have anything, unless you have
Wonderful.
questions. I'm just happy to be here, right? We're happy to be here.
Well, wonderful to see all of you. Really wonderful to see you.
Here.
Oh, such a sweetheart. You know, we have a group at CBSE, Fetch, Don't Fetch, that we gather on Zoom to celebrate our pets.
So Rabbi, I thought next concert, I brought my son. Now I'm bringing my dog. I'm covering all bases.
He's smiling, he's laughing.
Yes, he's a very sweet, sweet dog.
Face.
Jason Kaufman, speak to us, Jason. Jason, so wonderful to see you. Jason's now right outside of Washington, D.C. And I was very moved to see him when I was in D.C., actually quite soon before the shutdown, when I was part of bringing our CBST teens to D.C. for the Religious Action Center's program for teens. And one of our past presidents, a parent died, and I was desperately looking for a cantor to help me lead the funeral. And Jason Kaufman walked by me in the hotel lobby, and I grabbed him and I said, Jason, will you help me lead this funeral? And he said yes in his incredibly generous, beautiful way. So wonderful to have you here with us, Jason. Tell us about what your choice was.
So the first rule you learn when you work at CBST is that if Sharon Kleinbaum asks for something, it's important. And it really was my honor to have the opportunity to say yes. I just want to say it's amazing that I worked at CBST so many years ago, because I feel so connected to the community still. And I don't think a week goes by without me speaking to Joyce, who's just my favorite person in this entire world who I get to collaborate with musically. I sang a piece called Wake Up in America, which was introduced to me by a friend of mine, Leah Morris, who's a frequent collaborator of mine in the DC area. And it's actually a children's song. So if you're wondering why is there such simplicity, yet of course wisdom in the words, it was a children's song. And we're all trying to figure out new skills as we're going on through this moment of time. And I did not know how to play guitar when the quarantine started. But for me and my community, I didn't want to try to create tracks, which I'm so impressed with the work that CBST is doing in this regard. I wanted to see if I would be able to accompany myself. So this is what I've been working on the past few weeks or so.
Haven't we all learned skills we never thought we would be able to do? I mean, I'm making granola, Jason. I'm making granola on a regular basis. Who thought I'd ever cook?
And I just have to say, if I was only allowed to sing one song for the rest of my life, it would be the song that I sang today. That when I wake up in America, I put away my fear, and I love my neighbor as myself, and I say, I'm glad you're here. We have found ourselves together in this land we dream could be. If we wake up America, everybody still can be free. May that be our prayer.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Dan Singer. Dan is actually in New York City with us, so he's actually not far away. He moved from CBST to the Upper West Side, where he's the cantor at Stephen Wise Free Synagogue.
It's been a long journey, but...
And Dan was, as I mentioned, our first cantorial intern. What was the year, Dan?
2004 to 2005.
And that was your 5th year in cantorial school? That was your final year?
Yeah, that was my last year. I was a graduating student. And it was really just one of the most amazing years of my life, being able to work with you, Sharon, and Joyce, and to connect with your community. I love CBST. I love you. I love CBST. I feel very honored to be a part of the fabric of this congregation. It's just a beautiful history of cantors that you have, and it's truly an honor to be a part of this community. This is, I think, my third or fourth Shabbat Shirah with you.
Yes.
And every year it's amazing, but this year there's something truly moving about the fact that, you know, all of these alumni are coming back from all over the country. And that's something that would not be possible were it not for this modern technology because of all the logistics. But so in one sense, we're together in our solitude. You know, we are more connected than ever. I see more of my colleagues. I tune into all of my colleagues and watch their services in a different way now because I think all of us are craving that kind of connection, and we're just more present now on the internet because we're alone.
I know, Dan, don't you experience sometimes on Shabbat morning, I start with the East Coast.
Yeah.
I sit through, I go through different services on the East Coast, including yours. And then as the West Coast starts their services, so sometimes I spend all day in Shachrit. It's an amazing experience.
Yes, like Groundhog's Day, you know, just
Again and again.
Oh. And again. It's awesome. No, it's really, it's a delight, and it's great to be able to learn from different communities about how to adapt to this new reality. And so that actually is a perfect segue into my song, which is about looking forward to the future next year. It's a song that actually came to me because of Joyce. Well, I knew about it before, but Joyce had said, I have this music, what are we going to do with it? I was like, I want it, give it to me. And so I jumped on it because I remembered it from this incredible Saturday night Seder.
Yes, that was amazing.
Just amazing. So, and one of the composers of this song, actually, she was in the news because she was recently arrested from her stoop. Did you hear about this?
No.
Yeah, Shana Taub is one of the composers. She's a Broadway composer. And there's on her Twitter account, and it's been all over the media, that she was arrested from her stoop during the curfew because she was cheering on protesters. But they took her in handcuffs, took her away. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But the song itself is about looking forward to next year, and it's forward thinking.
And you know, Dan, one of the other composers, Benji Pasek, comes to CBST for High Holidays, and he's one of the composers of Dear Evan Hansen.
Yes, exactly. And it's just a great forward-thinking song. And when you think about the Passover Seder, that's how we conclude the Seder, is L'Shana Haba B'Yerushalayim. And when we think about it in terms of what we're going through now, we have to have this forward-thinking mentality. We cannot allow the present to bring us under the water, you know, to bring us under the waves and allow the waves to crash over us. We have to keep walking forward and have faith that the waters will part, and that, you know, that someday we'll be liberated. And so I just was very moved by this song, by all the references that are in it. And I feel like we need that kind of inspiration and that forward thought, even though we're all here from the past, you know. We're all parts of the fabric of the past of CBST. So.
Tell me, Magda has set a high bar. Do your kids sing with you?
Oh, my kids? No, they do when they're not on camera. They will never do it. They will never do it on camera. Although I did convince my son, my youngest son, my older son is in that self-conscious stage, but the younger one, who's still 6, he still loves being with his daddy. So I convinced him to put on a chef's outfit with me, and tonight he's going to appear as a chef with me on screen,
beautiful,
lip syncing to a popular song at our gala.
Beautiful. David Fair, are you with us?
I'm with you. Hello.
Hello, David Fair. So talk to us, and tell us a little bit about your choice and what it meant to you to sing it today, as our current cantorial intern. Right. Standing on the shoulders of all these formers who are here with us today.
I see what I can become. This is very exciting. So, you know, Joyce said to me, you know, David, is there a song that maybe from your past life, before you entered cantorial school, that you loved as well. And we tossed around a bunch of ideas and we settled on You'll Never Walk Alone. And there are some lyrics in the song that I think are so apropos to this moment. Specifically the lyrics, at the end of the storm, there's a golden sky. And I've been thinking of the phrase Gamze Ya'avor a lot lately. And I think, you know, this is a storm we're going through, but there's a golden sky behind that. And the lyrics, walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed and blown. Yes, right now there's a lot of wind and a lot of rain coming at us, but we're going to keep our heads held high. And I just thought this song really just said it all. It's one of those great anthems that, it's a real anthem.
Yes, absolutely.
It speaks to so many times that are challenging, but I really feel like the United States and the whole world is going to come out of this stronger and wiser. So yeah, it was just so enjoyable to be on the screen today and to join this wonderful roster of cantors and to be part of this awesome community.
So David, you've written something very beautiful, which we're going to soon send out to the community this week, about what it feels like to be a Jew of color in this moment in history. And I want to say your words and your teaching, which we're going to send out to the congregation this week, and you don't know this yet, but you're going to share some of it at Friday night services, by the way. This is what it means to be an intern at CBST.
Right.
Very moving, because this world that we're in affects us all. But we have to be honest, it affects us all a little differently. And we each sometimes have different things we need to learn. As much as we need to learn that we're all in this together, we also have to deeply learn how things affect each of us somewhat differently. And part of the power of the tapestry that we talked about, of the song that Steve sang, is that yes, we're all part of this humanity, but we have to be deeply sensitive to the ways that things affect us differently. If you're an immigrant in America today, your life is a little different. If you're an immigrant without documents that make you a legal person in America, your experience is different right now. If you're a person of color, if you're an LGBT person, if you have any, how shall we say, underlying health issues, all these different experiences should not separate ourselves from each other if we are deep enough to learn from them and to listen to the people who have something to teach. So I want to thank you, David, for being a teacher in that way. I don't know if you want to say anything about that right now, or.
Well, I certainly don't want to, spoil a message that I might deliver Friday night. I do want to speak to that, since I've been blessed to be given this platform right now, which is that this is an opportunity for all of us to stop talking and to listen. And there's such wisdom in listening. I'm reminded of Hillary Clinton. You know, I love her so much, and she was.
But her emails. Oh, that's all I'll say.
Did you all see my eyes roll into the back of my head when? But anyhow, you know, she's a listener, and I think she's so wise because of that. And when you listen, and when you hear people's stories, it changes you. And I really want to encourage everyone on this call to find a person who's had a different life story than you. And it's a little scary to ask this, but ask them, can they tell you a little bit of their story?
Absolutely.
Because our stories are, that they are who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And my story is an important one. Every human being's story is an important one, and it's a unique one. And I invite everyone, listen to each other's stories. They're all beautiful, and they're all stories that God co-wrote.
Beautiful, David. An example was this past Friday night, the stories we heard from the trans Jewish world, which was riveting and soul-shaking, I think, for many of us. And indeed, we who are not of color have profound things to learn from people who are of color, and there are truths and deep things that we have to learn from each other. So thank you, David, for being a teacher. And the congregation has a treat this week to hear more from you.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
we won't give it all away today.
Can I
Is
just-
Rayut Ben-Ze'ev
Yeah,
on
I
the
was just
call?
gonna-
Is
yes, I was
Rayut
just
here? I
gonna
can't,
ask.
I don't see her, but I think
She
she.
has her hand up, I believe.
Rayut, are you here? Start
Yes.
speaking and we'll find you.
Hello, hello, I am
Ah,
here.
hello, Rayut. So
Okay.
wonderful to see you.
Great to
Wow,
see
how
you.
fantastic to hear your voice singing Hashkabenu. That
Oh.
was fantastic.
Oh,
Speak to us about why you wanted, tell us a little bit about where you are in the world and why
I am in
Hashkabenu.
Queens.
Queens.
Still in Queens, yeah. It's wonderful to be here. It's such a treat to, reconnect and be part of this community that I guess once you're in it, you never leave. It's just really so fantastic.
It's Velcro. It's the Jewish version of Velcro. We never let you go too far.
Yeah. It's such a beautiful thing that you know how to do, you and Joyce, to keep everybody connected, no matter when and where and how. There's always a way. You always find a way, and it's really special, I loved listening to everybody and singing Hashkivenu. I mean, it's interesting. Dan was talking before about looking forward to the future, to a year from now, and for me, it was just about tomorrow morning. When things are challenging, and it's just like look at the next, just the next little thing, and just be in the moment. We need both, I think, right? Look for the next thing, just the little step, and then the big picture. And Hashkivenu was always a moment in the services that I felt so connected to everybody, and it really felt like a sacred moment in every service.
Yes.
And that idea of like hoping that you will lay down in peace and will wake up in the morning, and which we really can't take for granted, especially in these days between the corona and the situation with Black Lives Matter, so which of course nobody could predict, but it really was for me like it was clear to me that if the thing I would choose to sing for CBST, and that I felt so connected through to the community and to everybody, was this piece. And Joyce, I think, created a beautiful arrangement for the piano, and the fact that we had this recording with Larry Kay at the High Holidays felt like it was such a perfect thing to put together. I mean, to put in this program.
Yeah, it's such a profound piece of liturgy, and your voice is so spectacular singing it. Just spectacular. We miss you so much. You're such a beautiful, beautiful soul you bring to it. And again, you have a life experience that's really different than a lot of us, and coming from Israel and emerging and trying to embrace being gay, coming from Israel, very complicated, and we have other people in the community. And it's another piece of how we learn we can learn so much about life by actually being deeply open to what other people are going through. So thank you for being here. And by the way, Ray, that piece is on a recording that we have of the High Holidays. And I think we still have some CDs available of the High Holidays that Rayut is on, but I'm not sure we have access to them.
Gift shop. We have them
In our gift shop, but I'm not sure we have access to our gift shop, so that's a little.
And there's
okay,
that.
but
eventually.
They do exist, so it's really a fantastic gift to the world. Are there any other of the performers who are with us? I can't see. Oh, Rayut, we have a question. How old are those gorgeous little babies of yours who were just verbal when you were at CBST?
Right. I think it was like, they're almost just a year or so. They're almost 10. I can't believe it. They're almost 10. They're guys. They're young men. It's pretty wild.
Wow, beautiful.
They're at the beach now.
Beautiful. That's wonderful that they're there. Sam Rosen, are you here with us?
I am.
Sam will become our cantorial intern in July, so he's the next stage and he stands on the shoulders of everybody who's here today. So Sam, talk to us. Tell us about the piece you did today. And
thank you. That means so much to have experienced what we just experienced, and sort of I've been I came to CBST about 6 years ago after having studied music, but coming to New York to study Jewish history at JTS. So I had no music. And I just went into a rehearsal at Bethune Street. And ever since then, I grew up in a very active Jewish household. My dad sang in the synagogue all the time. So I was living Jewish life. But when I came to CBST, I saw the history of the Jewish people being lived in a way that was so rich. And I was just so drawn by this devotion to so many high standards, and thinking about what piece to pick for this.
So Sam, I want to clarify for people so they understand. What you're saying is that being in the chorus at CBST preceded your going to cantorial school, correct?
Correct. So this was.
So for some people like Dan Singer, he came to us at the end of his cantorial school training, but Sam actually came to cantorial school from CBST. So that's a very special journey.
We actually worked on Sam's audition pieces for HUC together, actually, which is just so moving to me. Yeah, and to watch him.
Thank you. And seeing Cantor Steve come on the screen, it was him that I watched. And I said, what do I need to do? I was getting a master's in Jewish history. I wanted to teach Jewish history. I still do. But I was like, I saw something and I said, that's something special. So I thank all of you for that.
So proud of the cantor that you've become, even though you're not fully ordained yet, you've just become such an amazing musician, amazing cantor.
Thank you. And this piece, I was introduced to this piece by a teacher at HUC in Jerusalem for the first year. And La Kol Zman, I couldn't believe it. Reverend Al Sharpton spoke these words at one of George Floyd's memorials a couple days ago. And I just paused everything. And I was just so many things were coming together. And to think about everything to come that's going to be different than what I expected in this year. But just to know that I'm working with people that have so much devotion, and it means so much to me. So I thank you for, and I know a lot of my family in Texas and my
Sam, like Joyce, everybody should know Sam, like Joyce, they're both Texans, which we're very proud of, that we are a multicultural Jewish community.
Right.
And Sam, where in Texas are you from?
So I grew up in Houston.
Oh, so both from Houston.
Both from
and
Houston.
Is Art Leonard here tonight? He's from Texas also. So we have quite of a Texas strong culture at CBST.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much.
Wonderful to have you. Sam will be singing with David Fair the service for Gay Pride. Am I right, Joyce? Did I get the schedule correct? And then starting on July 1st, Sam will be a cantorial intern at CBST for the summer, for 20 hours a week during the summer. And then when school starts up again, 15 hours a week, which is our standard internship. And we're thrilled. Sam, what year of school are you entering?
Entering the 4th year now.
The 4th year.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So some of you, he's already been leading some services, and he worked with us last summer as well. So some of you have had the great delight of. Now I know that Rabbi Ayelet Cohen is here I can see on the participants list. Ayelet, say hello. Ayelet was a rabbi at CBST for 10 years, has written the prayer for our country, which we say every week, and has written the prayer for our healers, which we now say since COVID. So Rabbi Cohen, are you here? Say hello to everybody.
I'm here, and I'm happy to assure you that I'm not going to sing. It's so wonderful to see everybody, and this was really such a beautiful and moving and elevating afternoon. Thank you, really.
Thanks, Ayelet.
And I want to, let me just, here we go. I will be remiss if I don't encourage people. If anybody wants to give a little more money, the link Ann Targovnik has put in the chat. If you feel so inspired, $18, $36, $18,000, any range we'll be happy to accept.
I feel like I should say she also put in the link to the book. If you've never read the book, now when you're at home is the perfect time to finally do it. You don't have to pretend you've read it. You can actually read it if you have a little extra time on your hands.
As everyone knows, Rabbi Cohen wrote the book literally about CBST, which we published for our 40th anniversary, with a very moving chapter, by the way, about music at CBST, which is a great overview of the development of music at CBST. So Anne has put in the chat, give to support music at CBST. And yes, there's a lot of poignancy when cantors and rabbis and rabbinical students and cantorial students move on, and we feel very attached and very affected by their music or their teaching, and we want to be as well open to welcoming the new voices and the new teaching. But it is sad to lose those who are with us. I think David Berger couldn't be with us tonight for the Zoom because he has 2 kids that he needed to attend to. So we will release him. But I wonder if any of the other chamber musicians would like to speak. I know.
Come on, guys, speak up. Lisa, Sebu? Anybody there?
As I said, they've been performing at concerts once a month, not as much this year because of all the things that have been going on. Adria came to me soon after the election in 2016 and said, I'm a violist, but what can I do to help in the response? And we came up with this idea of regular chamber music concerts, which would benefit the social justice work at CBST, which I think almost nothing says as much about CBST as that we would love chamber music in order to raise money for our social justice work.
Lisa, I think Lisa Tipton might want to say something.
Okay.
Hi.
Adrienne can't unmute herself.
Hi. Oh, I did unmute. Okay.
There you are.
Hi,
Lisa.
I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. It was an incredibly moving concert, and we were communicating with some of my colleagues. I think they had to go, but we couldn't believe, we were crying during the whole thing and watching it and feeling so blessed and grateful to be part of this without having to get nervous at this exact moment. I mean, we were nervous putting it together. It was hard. It was a challenge, but we are so grateful to be part of this community. And as you said, we were trying to find a way to serve, and we feel like we can serve with our music and give from our hearts. And so thank you for allowing us to be part of your incredible community and all the incredible work that you do. Thanks.
And I think Adrienne Kim is with us as well. Am I right, Adrienne? Oh, there you are. Hi.
There you are.
Oh man, I cried the whole way through. What a gorgeous concert, and it's just a treat to see you all. And Joyce, thank you so much. I totally related to what you said about not having to warm up before the concert. I even had ice cream before the concert, which I never do. But it's funny, what really struck me was that after the concert, I still felt the connection with you all that I always do. And that's remarkable. That's really amazing. So thank you very much. Please stay well, stay healthy. It's been a treat to see you.
And if I may, just steal one more minute. I think there's nothing more gratifying than picking up the phone. Hey, Nick, picking up the phone or emailing these 4 colleagues and presenting an idea and getting a positive response within like 2.5 seconds of, yes, of course. My colleagues feel so connected to this community, and we're constantly talking about what we can do. And that's a real testament to the entire CBST community. And again, we're all very grateful, and we sincerely hope that the music that we bring to you all provides a moment of solace, a moment of peace, a moment of soothing your soul, and again, represents everything that draws us to CBST and everything that CBST, its clergy and its staff stand for, and the community at large. So thank you again very much. It's thrilling to know what Greg told us, the news that we've reached goal. I feel like being one of those soccer commentators where, they scream, "Goal!" for 75 million minutes. How great is that? Goal, everybody, come on. Goal!
But we always want you to give more. We always give more.
Right.
Thank you, Adria. Joyce, before we end, would you talk a little bit about the processes the chorus had to do to create that spectacular virtual choir of Enosh, which, by the way, we will use for Yom Kippur. But just talk a little bit about what the work of the chorus, who, for those of you who don't know, are by and large not professional musicians, unlike everybody we've just heard from. And Joyce, would you just describe a little bit more about what the chorus, how that was created?
Okay, well, it was indeed a challenge. It was a challenge, but it was one of those things that I think if you would ask any of our members, of the chorus, they would say it was worth it all, because it was the idea of overcoming these hurdles and figuring out something. And actually, I think we got a little preview of this a week or so ago, and before it was tweaked a little bit more, and people were just flabbergasted. So just to say in just a word, it started with me putting down a track of piano, and as you know, it was a cappella, but I put a track of piano, then I made a track of myself conducting. This was sent to each member, and they in turn had to figure out a way to, and before that, sorry, forgot one more important thing, which is we had 4 guide singers, which was very helpful. One person from each of the voice parts who recorded themselves. That was sent out as well. They had multiple things going in their ears, each of the singers, and they had to record their own voice part with their guide singer. And it sounds like it shouldn't be that difficult. Oh my God, it's very difficult because you're only hearing yourself. People in the chorus wrote on our wonderful Facebook group and said, I can't believe you would let me into the chorus when that I don't deserve to be, everybody had went through such a process. It was heartbreaking, and I knew we could do it at the same time. It was also very fun. We sent around lots of pictures of our setups. So people put they put all their equipment on tops of paper towels, lots of packages of paper towels. I mean, the list goes on. We're going to make a collage of this. It was so great, and we didn't have a long time to do it, and people they saw it through, and it was fantastic. As you heard today, I mean, beautiful and musical and heartfelt, and I think and also, I just want to say we've all seen so many of these virtual choir videos now, because that's the only way choirs can sing together, but I haven't heard any, I think this is the very first video of a piece of classical.
Yes, that's very important to point out.
It's the very first, and I feel so proud to bring these deep expressions of this text, which is, I feel, for our time, speaks more than these words of the psalm speak more than just any other text. But it was written, so many years ago, and in the mid 1800s, and wow. So yeah, it was a great process, and I hope we can do another one before before we're reunited together, which I hope won't be so long, but God knows what that really will be, because as you all know, everyone says singing is like one of the last things to come back, because it's so dangerous to sing together and to sing sitting in the same room together. So we'll see. We will pray that our voices will be able to connect in many, many ways as we go forward. And I just want to say that I think that we all needed this concert so much. And as I said in my pre-recorded remarks, we all kind of questioned, well, is it appropriate? Is it like, should we be sort of celebrating now? How do we bring people together? And I just feel like that each person. Each performer really figured out a way that to express what was going on so deeply inside them that they felt that they could make a special connection to this time that we're in. And I know we're just all so grateful. And, I think as we'll look back at this concert for years to come, we'll see that actually that it was maybe one of the most profound and sweetest of all of these Shirok concerts. Who could have imagined?
We will look back on this time, and 310 people attended today, or 310 computers attended today. Of course, that represents many more people. But in the future, thousands will say they were here today. And thousands will look back on this. The recording of this concert will go out on Tuesday with the CBST e-news, and everybody will be able to listen to it again and again and again. And I just want to express my love, my gratitude for all of you. We are in very tough times, and history books will look back on us. And that one of the things we did in this moment was to create great art. That is what it is about. That is what it is about. So thank you, all of you. For those of you who are the artists, who can create the environment, the beauty that reminds us we are all created in the image of God, and it is our job to keep the distance between God and all of us ever diminishing. That happens for me with and through all of your art. So good night, everybody. Thank you very much. Blessings to all of you. And the recording will go out so everybody can enjoy this again and again and again. Blessings to everybody on the first night that New York City is not in curfew in over a week. Good night.
Love.